Welcome to a long-anticipated episode of Health with Hashimoto's. Today we're going to talk about gluten. It is a top question that I get, and perhaps you have Googled it or you have read information about gluten and Hashimoto's or gluten and thyroid, and you are curious, do I need to give up gluten if I have thyroid problems? We are going to get into that, and honestly, I want to tell you the reason I have not tackled it yet is because on this podcast, I always want to give you simple and sustainable solutions. I want to help you identify your root causes and then take action on them. But going gluten-free, there is not a simple and sustainable solution. Sustainable, yes, but it's not simple to go gluten-free. And that's why I've shied away from this episode for so long. We are on, I think, episode 96 today. So it's been 100 episodes, including the bonuses. And I've not talked about gluten yet, but today we're going to talk about it. I would be curious, have you gone gluten-free? Have you tried it? And if you did try it, how long did you try it? What did you do? Hop over to the Health with Hashimoto's community on the app and let's talk about it. Let's have a robust discussion, because when you start talking about food and when you start interfering with how people eat and what they eat and what they think they, quote, should eat or should not eat, you get a lot of feelings. You get a lot of big emotions because food is such a part of our lives. And that's good. Like, we need to eat to live. So hop over to the Health with Hashimoto's community and let's talk about it. If you have an iPhone, the Health with Hashimoto's app is in the App Store. If you have an Android, just click the link below, and I have a couple links for you to follow because it is not in the Google Play Store yet. I actually have taken a pause on trying to get it into the Google Play Store because I have met with some obstacles that I'm not quite sure how to get over them. So I will continue to drop the link below in the show notes so that you can still load the app. And also, there is a desktop version if you want to do it on your computer or on your tablet. You can still join the 100% free community. Also within the app is the free Hashimoto's Decoded course. In that course, I will explain in detail what is Hashimoto's, and perhaps you already know that. Perhaps you go to your doctor and you already, walking into the office, you know more than your doctor because you've had Hashimoto's for so long and you've dug into this and you have done your research and you have read so many books, listened to so many podcasts, watched so many YouTube videos. You have done so much learning and you're already a step ahead of most doctors. So maybe you don't need that part of the course, the Hashimoto's Decoded course. You're like, yes, Esther, I already know what Hashimoto's is. But perhaps you don't know all of the root causes, or maybe you don't know your root causes, or maybe you know some of them, but you don't know all of them. So still go through that course. You can skip ahead to different parts if you want to skip the first. I broke it into small, easy to digest videos. So in that course, you're going to figure out what the root causes of Hashimoto's are and then apply them to your life and say which ones apply to me, which root causes do I think I have? And then you get to take the next step, which is how to address them. And that is where the holistic Hashimoto's course comes in, because I know that you can leave Hashimoto's Decoded with a ton of information, but at the same time, it's a ton of information. I go through all the root causes. And so you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I have like at least 3, maybe 5 of those root causes that apply to me. I think they're impacting my health. So I need to figure out how to address those. Where do I start? And you're going to leave, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed. You can do it on your own. A lot of people do. And a lot of people spend a lot of time and, frankly, a lot of money chasing different solutions. And some of the solutions might work and some of them might not. So that's why I created the Holistic Hashimoto's course, because I want to shortcut your journey. I don't want you to wander around in the maze and not try to take so much time, but end up taking so much time trying to get solutions that will work for you. I want to shortcut that time. And that is why I created the Holistic Hashimoto's course. It is to take you by the hand and guide you exactly what you need to do. do. I don't want you to wander around in the maze. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to be confused. I want you to have clear answers and know exactly what to do. And so the Holistic Hashimoto's course is going to shortcut your time to get those answers. And in the course, one of the weeks is about what you eat. I have you do a food inventory. I recommend at least 3 days. If you can do 5 to 7, that would be best, because I'm having you look for clues. Like when I eat X, I experience Y. And the best way to get those clues is to look for patterns over several days, especially, maybe your weekday diet is not the same as your weekend diet, or maybe you go out to eat once a week or more, and you want to include one of those meals in your log. So I have you log your food and the symptoms that you notice, your bloating, any depression, anything that you notice is just data. And then we go through and we talk about your next steps. One of the ebooks that is free in that, or is included in that week, is all about gluten and how to go gluten-free. So I'm going to give you a little preview now as we talk about it. So question number 1, what is gluten? Well, gluten is a protein, and it's the protein that gives a lot of baked goods their texture. I don't know if you've ever had gluten-free foods, like gluten-free bread or gluten-free desserts, cookies, anything like that. They do not feel the same as regular baked goods. There's always a texture difference. A lot of times it's more dry, it's more cardboard, and it's not for lack of trying. It's just the lack of gluten. Gluten is a protein that helps bind, helps the elasticity, helps the texture of baked goods or anything with grain. It is primarily found in wheat, but it is found in some other grains as well. For example, it is in barley. So if you get Rice Krispies from Kellogg's, it will say it has barley malt in it. That is gluten. So those Rice Krispies are not gluten-free. However, if you get Rice Krispies from, I think, Aldi, those do not have any gluten in them. They do not have barley malt. So those Rice Krispies are gluten-free. So if somebody makes Rice Krispie bars for a potluck or something, you cannot know that it's gluten-free. You'd have to ask if they know where they bought their Rice Krispies. For myself, I always decline Rice Krispies unless somebody specifically says these are gluten-free. I mean, because honestly, I love Rice Krispies, but I don't need them. I don't need all of that straight sugar. The Rice Krispies, it just turns to sugar. They have a super high glycemic index, and the marshmallows, of course, that's just straight sugar. Add a little butter so that, it gets the right consistency, but I don't need Rice Krispie bars, so I will decline them unless somebody says specifically they do not have gluten. So anyway, all that to say, gluten is a protein. Now, over the years, different grains have been bred and crossbred so that they have more gluten in them. And that's not necessarily GMO, it's just breeding, although there is a GMO component now. So in the United States, our gluten in our baked goods is different than that in Europe. There are many people who live in the United States, and when they visit Europe, they discover that they can eat regular baked goods that have gluten, and they don't have any symptoms that they would normally have in the US. So we do know that gluten is different in the US versus Europe. Also, gluten is inflammatory. That means when you eat it, your body has some inflammation. Part of this is related to a chemical called zonulin. When you eat gluten, your body releases zonulin, and zonulin tells the little gaps tells your gut to open little gaps in the gut wall. And this is so things can pass through. This zonulin reaction is worse in people with celiac disease, but it does happen with everybody. You eat something that has gluten, and then your body releases the chemical zonulin, and that opens the little junctions in your gut wall. For a lot of people, this can lead to leaky gut. Now, leaky gut is just a popular way to say intestinal wall permeability. That's the fancy way to say it. Either way, it means things are getting through your gut wall into the rest of your body that they shouldn't be there. And then your body is like, oh my goodness, that should not be there. Let's attack it. And so then you get increased allergies because your body learns we don't want this foreign thing in our body. Let's attack it. And every time you now eat that, you can develop an allergy. Leaky gut also plays a role in other things like Hashimoto's. I have heard it said that every single person who has Hashimoto's has leaky gut. We do know that everybody with an autoimmune problem has a gut component. Whether it's specifically leaky gut, I cannot say. I have not read enough firm research on that, but we do have a gut component. So how does gluten and thyroid stuff interact? Good question. So I just talked about how allergies is your body learning and identifying a specific thing and then attacking it. That's what an allergy is. And when you have thyroid problems or Hashimoto's, your body is already attacking your thyroid. Well, gluten and your thyroid are very similar on a molecular level. In fact, gluten is called a molecular mimic of your thyroid. So if you already have your body mobilizing and attacking your thyroid and you eat something with gluten, what do you think it's going to do if it confuses them? It's going to attack. And so you might have more symptoms when you eat gluten. And that is why when Dr. Isabella Wentz, she is a pharmacist, you can find her website is called The Thyroid Pharmacist, and she has books, she has videos, she's got lots of resources. She did a survey and she said it went viral. A whole bunch of people responded. And out of everybody who responded, 86% of them said they felt better when they went gluten-free. These people were not necessarily celiac. They did not have celiac disease, but they did have thyroid problems. And 86% of them felt better when they went gluten-free. Now, for myself, I did not go gluten-free for myself. I went gluten-free because my youngest, when he was just a teeny tiny baby, just 2 or 3 months old, he had a horrible eczema rash, head to toe. He was clawing at his skin, causing it to open up and bleed. He was miserable. And I knew that it was my job as, his primary source, his only source of nutrition, and the caretaker of his environment. I knew that it was my job to figure out what was going on, what was causing it. So I went on a very, very, very strict elimination diet for the benefit of my son. I would not have done it for myself. I do not have that much self-control and self-restraint to give up every single food. I think I was eating fish and chicken and vegetables while breastfeeding. And so I was eating so much and I was so sick of eating those things because if you've ever breastfed a kid, you have to eat so many calories. And I was just so frustrated and bored. Anyway, that very strict elimination diet, when I was done, when I had brought back in foods to see if they were okay for my son, I discovered at that time that my body was not okay with gluten. Now, his body was fine with it, but my body was like, oh my goodness, you gave me a break from gluten. Let's stay off of that forever, okay? And I was like, yeah, no. I really love donuts and I love bread. I love sandwiches. I do not want to give up gluten. I did this for my son, not for me. So I kind of argued with myself for quite a while. I was mostly gluten-free. I would go, 100% gluten-free for quite a while. And then a special occasion would come up and I would eat whatever I wanted. In our house, we have 4 birthdays within 30 days. So for that birthday season, I was eating whatever I wanted. I was eating as much gluten as I wanted because I figured gluten is an all or none thing. So I might as well just enjoy it. After a couple years, I did realize that I was having more and more symptoms when I had gluten and that it just wasn't worth it anymore. I did try sourdough. Now, if you have made sourdough bread, it changes the gluten a little bit. And if you do long fermented sourdough, it changes it even more. So long fermented sourdough is when you let it rest or rise or something. You put it in the fridge overnight. I remember that part. And people were saying that if you do long fermented sourdough, people who normally cannot eat gluten can eat that. Well, I tried it and I could not. For me, what I realized that day when I was experimenting with a sourdough is gluten makes me really depressed. It's not necessarily a gut symptom for me, although I did have some, but mostly it was depression. And then I also had some more migraines. The migraines were why I initially was like, I'm not going to celebrate birthday season with gluten every single year. That was the migraines. But then when I tried it with the sourdough, I realized that gluten makes me depressed. And that's not something that you can get easily tested for. That's really something that you need to do an experiment on yourself. Is gluten affecting me? So here is how you're going to do that experiment if you decide to do it. Number one, your first step is to decide that you're going to do it. And like I said earlier, gluten is an all or nothing thing. You can't just 80% it. If you're going to go gluten-free, it needs to be 100%, and it needs to be for a significant amount of time. Some people say it takes up to 90 days for you to get all of the gluten and all of the effects of it out of your body. So that's a significant time commitment. So number one, decide that you're going to do it. I would suggest at least a month. So step one, decide that you're going to do it. Step two is take an inventory of your house and what you eat. Like I said, you can take a food diary, but you want to write down everything that you eat and your personal care products. I discovered gluten and wheat in my shampoo and conditioner and then I realized in commercials, they say like they have wheat protein to make your hair healthy and shiny. I was like, oh, so check your personal care products as well. Check all your food and your personal care products. That's step two, take an inventory. Step three is plan a full 2 to 3 weeks of meals and snacks. Even if you do not normally do meal planning, in this case, you need to do meal planning. And that is because when you're completely changing your diet, you're going to have some stressful days, you're going to have some stressful times, and you do not want to get to that point and wonder what you're going to eat. Standing there in the kitchen like, oh my goodness, I am hungry and there's nothing to eat. You want a plan in place. Whether you follow that plan or not is up to you, but prepare and have a plan in place. Have snacks that you know that you can eat. One of my favorite snacks, I love hummus with microgreens and some sauerkraut I've started to mix in and some gluten-free crackers or some carrot sticks as my scoopers. I love that for a snack, and it is gluten-free. As far as meals, if you look up paleo meals, I think 100% of them are gluten-free because paleo is grain-free. And thankfully, with all of the paleo stuff that's available now and keto, you can find a lot of recipes. But get a plan in place that will last you at least 2 to 3 weeks so that you have food on hand and you know exactly what you can eat. And then comes step 4. Try it out and keep a log. Figure out how this is affecting you. And then at the end of however long you decided to do it, whether it's a month or 90 days or what, have a little bit of gluten and see what it does to you. This is your chance to experiment. You can know that 86% of people, felt better in Dr. Isabella Wentz's study when they went gluten-free. But that doesn't tell you how you are going to respond. Sure, you might have an 86% chance of feeling better, but are you in that 86% or are you in the minority where they can have gluten and they feel just fine? Nobody can tell you what's going to happen for you. Every single person is bio-individual. We are all unique. You are unique. You are special. You are valuable and you are unique. Your health journey is not like anybody else's. And so when it comes to gluten and what you can or can't eat, at least what is good for your body and what your body reacts to, there's not a specific code oh, you are this person, so here's your little card. This has all the information you need. That would be nice, right? Especially as parents, if we could get a little user's guide with each baby that we have. That would be so nice. But there is no user's guide. So you get to experiment on yourself. So again, the 4 steps in implementing this is number 1, you're going to decide if you are going to go gluten-free. It's 100% or none, and then decide how long. Number 2, take an inventory of what you currently eat and also look for gluten and wheat in your personal care products. Number 3, plan a full 2 to 3 week rotation of meals and snacks. Have it all planned out so that you are prepared, so that you lower your stress when you're making this change. And then step 4, keep a log or a diary of how you feel and what you're eating. Knowledge is power, and I hope that this helps you figure out if gluten is okay for you or if it's not. Let me know in the Health with Hashimoto's community. Like I said, come over to the app and let's have a conversation about gluten and what you eat. This should be a pretty good discussion. I am excited to hear everybody's stories. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional. If you found this episode helpful, will you please share it with a friend? I'll see you next week on the Health with Hashimoto's podcast.